I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Happy Sunday, all you Days of Our Lives fans. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's DISHIN Days, where we give you a full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's Emmy Award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and we are finally joined by our full gaggle again.
Yes, full house. The family's back together.
Yay! A family that days together, stays together.
Wow.
And to my far left,
Hi, Michael Mattes. How are you?
That was great.
and of course we have,
Hey guys, Chelsie Overocker here.
and the ever so beautiful
Hi everyone, Tami Goveia.
Goveia.
That's what Ryan likes to call me. Tami Goveia.
I love it. Before we start our show, Los Angeles has been hit with some very hard news. We want to send our condolences to the Bryant family for the loss of NBA player Kobe Bryant, along with his daughter Gigi, and of course the other passengers that were on the helicopter that crashed in Calabasas today. We send all of our condolences to the family. We know that you're going through a hard time, but we send our thoughts and prayers to you all. I'm sorry for your loss. It was a very hard news that happened, and it happened very suddenly. He died in a helicopter crash, which for years apparently he's been taking helicopters everywhere, and unfortunately ended in tragedy today. So our condolences to the families affected today. But we are going to give you a lot of stuff that happened this week on Days. Thank you guys for tuning in live. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are DISHIN Days on Facebook and Instagram, and _DISHIN Days on the Twitter. And of course, if you're listening to us on the Apple Podcast, make sure you give us 5 stars and also leave a comment. I went on there the other day, there wasn't no comments.
Really?
Recent comments. So, I mean, there's comments, but they're from years ago.
Okay.
I need some updated comments. Yeah, I need to know how y'all are feeling about all of this Days of Our Lives-ness, time jumpness that's happening and goings on.
Time jumpness.
Yeah.
Time jumps and time backflips and whatever you want to call it.
Turns,
Listen,
flips.
Cher said if we could turn back time, and this week we did.
Man.
And of course, if you are a lover of all things soap opera, hopefully you tuned into a special interview with our lovable host James Lott Jr. with the cast of Studio City, which is a new web series that is on Amazon. And so make sure you guys tune into that. And then later on, check out Restless Rap, which is a recap of Young and the Restless. Today, unfortunately, there will not be a GH report because
Why?
during the
Tammy's very
impeachment,
pressed about this.
apparently GH didn't know where to put their episodes this
It's
week.
ridiculous.
They ain't know where to put them.
ABC, what is wrong with you?
They couldn't put them
And-
online. They couldn't put them on demand. They couldn't stream nothing. But NBC made sure that we got a full week of Days via NBC.com or the NBC app.
And I noticed that Ron and the actors were very vocal about like where you can watch.
Yes.
So that was good on them to
Yes.
make sure
Yes.
that, because this was like a huge week for them.
Yeah.
And it was kind
for
of
General Hospital.
and-
I mean, it's
yeah.
inexcusable like across the board.
right.
Yeah. But they're working something out. So hopefully you can see what you missed this week. And of course, we have the Bowl Breakdown that's coming back next Sunday.
The second.
Next Sunday.
Yes.
Super Bowl Sunday
Yes.
for Super Bowl Breakdown.
Oh, it is the Super Bowl
Yeah.
next week.
It is.
The halftime show.
I'm only
the
watching-
Jennifer Lopez concert.
Yeah, I'm watching the J-Lo and Shakira concert.
Oh, Shakira's going to be there too?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
I didn't know that.
this has been reported for months.
Oh,
It's
I didn't.
J-Lo and
I knew about
Shakira,
J-Lo,
Shakira.
but
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that got you excited.
Yeah.
You look just as excited as if you
That's
were
gonna
going
be
to
a
a
good
Madonna concert.
Hips
Ooh.
don't lie.
I know.
Poor thing. All right, so let's break it all down. And how do we feel about this week? Oof.
It was a lot.
Man.
Like,
Oh,
it was.
wait, side note, Freddie Smith will be joining us
Oh yeah.
right after
Yeah.
the recap, so y'all
Just
stay
that.
tuned. Okay, now go.
It was very emotional this week. Very,
Yeah.
very intense. Very lots of high drama, and I like how the flow of the week went. It got more dramatic as the week went on and finished just like
You know, for the longest time, it kept getting brought up about what Kristen did to Haley and the death of Adrian. And it was just talked about. And I feel like for the longest time, we've been like, what happened?
Yes.
And then this week, they were like,
Fine. You
oh,
want to
you
know
what
what
happened? Boom. And I was like,
Ooh.
this is a lot to take in. Listen, Mother's Day 2019
Right?
was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Very
It's
rough.
going down into the books of,
Bad
Yeah.
Mother's
Salem
Days.
moments.
Yeah.
Oh. So
my
we
gosh.
all felt, Chelsea,
felt-
how did you feel?
I'm going to say this week was my favorite. I even like it better than the time jump week because it was just great how they went to present day, then last Mother's Day, and I loved how they waited and told the story, and we got all of our answers this week. So really
It was
great.
almost like they're like, okay, we gave you the time jump.
Yeah.
Now look what we're gonna do, and it's
Yeah.
like they're setting a precedent for like. Then we're gonna think, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully they can
Yeah.
continue to bring it like they did this week because this week was something.
It was something. Well, let's talk about it, y'all. It's now time to start
Dishin Days.
Yay! All right. Whew, let's kick things off with Sarah, Adrian, Maggie, Summer, Xander, and Victor. First of all, the catalyst of it all was Summer. And the surprise return of Summer. I didn't expect that. But when she came in and dropped bombs all throughout the Kiriakis mansion. It was like horrible timing because Sarah's now going into labor and Maggie's like, got it. I got her. Open the door. Summer's like, surprise, bitch.
Hey, boo.
And it's like, okay. And then it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And then Adrian is like, I'll take Sarah and go. And then it was just
Sarah and Summer have never met. Is that what I got?
No,
or have they?
No,
Correct.
they've never met.
And
'Cause-
Summer is not the sister that Rex slept with.
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't go back and look, but I
No.
was curious about that.
No.
Okay.
No, it was it was a different sister. No,
Cool.
for Summer has been off she's been off the canvas for a while, but when she came back with all this anger, my first question was when she left, she didn't seem that angry
Okay.
at Maggie. Like I felt like their relationship was okay.
I think I agree, and I think what happened story-wise and what happened, we don't know, is that she went off on some kind of bender
In Vegas.
in Vegas.
Yes.
Because
Which
she
is-
does
if you're
have
gonna
that
go on a bender, go to-
addictive
yeah.
personality, and so I think her just coming back here, they might have ended on a pretty good note before she left, but stuff went down and all that anger and all that blame, she just put that back on Maggie again.
Yeah. And then she was like, "You gave me the gift." I was like, "Girl,
Like,
what gift?"
Can you not get any more cruel?
Yeah.
It was
Low.
awful.
Oh my
Yeah.
It
God.
was awful. So she is alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
She also has
Cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis
She's
of the
dying.
liver.
So she's dying.
And
but it's
according to her, she has no chance to get a liver because she's an alcoholic, and I guess they don't like if you're on the transplant list,
Right.
you're like low if it's like a medical thing, but if
Right.
it's alcoholic, if you're an alcoholic, they see it like you caused it, so you don't deserve
Yeah.
it, something like that. But yeah, there was no in her mind there was no chance for her to get saved.
But what was weird is that you saw how much Maggie cared for her,
Oh my gosh,
and
yeah.
she kept disregarding that and kept saying, "You did this to me, and I'm like this because of you." And
Have a drink with me, Mom.
Yeah, the and then she left it
Oh
there.
my God.
It's like, what CVS did she stop by before she got?
Oh, she had this all planned out.
But then with that, I thought Maggie would have been stronger and not do it, because now I'm trying to remember timeline wise, was this shortly after her slip that Summer came back? Because remember, Maggie slipped up.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And Victor had to hide the
And,
alcohol.
yeah. So I guess there wasn't enough there. It was only maybe a few months, I guess.
I would say a
in
few
between.
months, yeah.
And then And I was like, whoa, I would think that she would be stronger and not do it. Like maybe she would have just left the house
Right.
to go be with Sarah.
Or maybe to your point, there just wasn't enough time in between the first slip for her to fully get it
And she
like
called
flushed out
Brady.
of her
She knew
brain.
she was in trouble. She called.
Oh, that's
Brady.
right. And he didn't answer.
If he had answered,
I forgot
it's
about that
Brady's fault.
because
everything would have been different.
Well, Kristen was in labor.
I know.
Yeah.
he was having a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that when you mentioned that, good that you mentioned that because I almost forgot that, and it was that moment where I realized, oh, that's why she did what she did because she couldn't get a hold of Brady,
Yeah.
who's like, if he had been available, he would have gone to her and maybe she wouldn't have gotten in the car with the bottle and
It would have been a different story.
Yeah.
completely different. But alas, she did.
So, well,
There's a lot of so there were a lot of things. We didn't see Maggie get into a car.
No.
No.
We didn't see her until after the accident, and then it was Adrian and Will. Adrian driving, Will driving. The commotion, and then all of a sudden, oh, Maggie's there in a car,
Yeah.
also off the road.
but
I
even before that, they got the flat tire on their way.
That was a really tricky thing that they did because when you heard the boop, I figured that was going to be the moment of the major accident.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like, oh no, it's just a flat tire. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
There.
god.
Adrian on the side of the road changing it
I
herself.
know, is she gonna
Yeah.
get
Good for
hit while
her.
she's changing the tire? Like,
Yeah,
how is
she
this
changed
gonna
the tire,
happen?
got back in, still looked gorgeous, by the way.
Right?
And then here's what was weird. Okay, because I replayed the accident in my mind over and over again. So keep in mind, they're going this way, right? Ow, I wish I had a diagram that came down.
I know
It
what
was
you're, I
like-
know what you're talking about.
So
but yeah.
they're coming this way, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see the headlights, and it's beep, 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 move out of the way. And then, I mean, it was such a long delay, right? So then it's like, vroom, right? So it looks like they went this way. Maggie went this way.
Mm-hmm.
Will had to be behind Maggie, right?
Because there weren't headlights when there were headlights in Adrian's face.
There wasn't headlights in Will's face.
Exactly.
So this way, Maggie went this way into the ditch.
Mm-hmm.
Will comes this way. They veered this way.
Right.
He veered that way.
Yes.
Because remember when he got out of the car, his car was pointing this way.
Okay.
And so then, boom, that crash happens. Maggie's crash happens.
Will didn't go off the road
didn't.
though,
No.
right?
He
pulled over.
Right. He just pulled. He
Because
didn't
he was-
veer off.
He
just-
shook it.
he veered off to miss, because it was like, at least this is how it happened in my mind. Maggie went this way, so they veered this way. Will was then coming, and he veered that
Yeah,
way
to avoid them.
to avoid them.
Yeah.
So then he comes over and helps and all that kind of stuff, and Xander finds Maggie first.
Right, and he thinks of Sarah's with Maggie.
Right, but not. Sarah's in the other car with
Adrian.
who, when she got up, I was like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah, it's like,
She
oh
was
no,
fine.
they're gonna do
She was totally
this.
fine.
No.
Then, being the champion that she is, she gets out of the car. She's like, I'm not feeling well. Passes out. Sarah's feeling weird because of the pressure of the seatbelt. So then, oh my gosh, there's so much that happened. Okay, so then, and Sarah was on the phone with Xander, which
Right.
prompted Xander to come.
That's how Xander knew where to find them.
Yes,
Yes.
thank goodness.
So-
We just passed exit 5 and
Yes. So
Route
then
7.
you got the ambulance, which JJ is a part of. They decide to whisk Adrian because her pulse
Critical,
is fading. Xander's like, what about Sarah?
I know. He's so cute.
What about Sarah?
Right.
And Sarah's like, honey, she doesn't have much
Yeah.
time. We're good.
But then
Poor Xander just
but then they
gets
have
screamed at all the time.
Right. So then
He was just trying to help.
they had to deliver the baby there.
I like how she said, all you have to do is catch the... I can do everything. All you got to do is catch the baby. Like, she's gonna... Like,
Yeah.
A football player.
So this accident was interesting because for some reason, I couldn't figure out. Well, at first I couldn't figure out why Will thought he did it, and then I realized he must not have noticed Maggie's car in front of him because he was looking down and texting.
Yeah.
Tim Rowell in the chat room makes a good point. It wouldn't make sense that Adrian and Maggie. Oh, but there was a missed exit somewhere. Okay. Tim Rowell made a comment that it wouldn't make sense that Adrian and Maggie were driving towards each other because they were both going from and to the same place. So they would be driving along with each other. But wasn't there, this just hit me, wasn't there something about someone missed an exit? Or that Adrian and Sarah missed an exit? So maybe they were backtracking?
Yeah, I think they were driving, and then Adrian said the exit's closed, and Sarah freaked out, and she's like, don't worry. I think there was a moment like that.
That's what I'm...
Yeah,
chat room?
That's a good point, because you're right.
Then I must have missed that. And I was paying attention. So
maybe I just came up with this in my head.
But that's the only thing that makes sense, because they were going in the same direction.
They should have been, at least. You know what I mean?
Unless Maggie was so drunk, she
missed unless Maggie was coming from
unless
the
there's
opposite
two
direction.
ways to get from Kyriakis Mansion to the hospital, and they took the opposite.
Oh yeah, because they both came from the Kyriakis Mansion.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And
so
Will's
there's still a
going
lot
the
of questions
opposite
about
way.
this. Like, we know there's the accident, but the logistics of how
All three.
it happened is still kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
But
And I think I said to you earlier in the week, like, I know what's going to happen, but I have none of it makes sense on how.
especially for Tuesday's episode,
Yeah.
because you see Maggie in the mansion just there about to drink, and then you see the accident with Will and Adrian, and I'm like, well, how are they going to tie Maggie into this?
Yeah. And I was in denial. I was like, Maggie's not involved in this.
But I think the key is that Sarah keeps saying that the car was black.
Right.
Yes.
And
But there was no one else on the road, and that's why Will said it had to be me.
But then Sonny, I think for a second was confused because he was like, but your car is gray.
Yes.
And he's like, it's dark gray, and it was dark.
Yeah.
So maybe that's...
And everything happened so fast.
So fast,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I almost needed a diagram to, like, see visually how the writers played this out and how no one, like...
according to...
No one saw Maggie.
Right, exactly.
No one saw her.
Chad Marks in the chat room said Sarah told Xander on the phone that they missed the exit.
Okay.
So maybe
Alright,
that's
so that
how
they
that's
had
how
it
they would-
backtracked.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the really smart thing that they did was, I thought it was going to be an actual car accident where one car was going to hit the other.
Yeah.
And that way you'd be able to get the paint off the other car and determine, what car it was. But no one ever hit anything.
No.
Right.
So.
And I thought, I remember someone said that she died of internal injuries.
Yes.
But I didn't realize that she, like, came to and seemed fine.
Yeah.
Although she was
She
bleeding.
had that head wound, yeah.
Yeah. And then, she still tried to assist and help. And I guess, obviously, the injuries were so, bad that... Tim Rowell said, Tony, maybe they can put the diagram on the Dual app. Please do.
Well, when you have a car accident and you're filling out the report, you have to draw, like, how it happened. So...
So yeah, that was seeing the actual accident was kind of like, thank you. We now have a visual of what happened.
And Xander calling Victor when he's in the car with Maggie was a really good one too.
Snowball number one.
Yeah.
But my question is, so where's the car?
Well, where's
Yeah.
Maggie's car?
Well, I'm sure Victor's people came by, like Xander said, you need to get over here. You need to get someone over here to fix this.
I mean, are we just going to assume that it was the power of Kyriakis?
Yeah, of
or
course.
like,
Yeah.
the Demiras can do this too. They can make
Absolutely.
anything
They can
happen.
make it disappear.
Yeah.
What's fun about, like, certain details not being revealed or are having these questions is that the chat room was, like, on fire before the show about all of these alternative, like, oh, maybe so-and-so did this, or maybe like, it's engaging fans, like, in a way that's like, oh, what happened? We're trying to guess what happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
we're trying to do right now.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, still questions.
And because of this, some amazing performances. One by just Kayla having to deliver the news that Adrian had died
to Justin.
And we saw this clip like when they reminisced about it before. But then when he told Sonny, and then both of them going down to the morgue and like saying, which kudos to makeup, because when I tell you them corpses look good, like laying there, I was like, yes, Miss Judy Evans, you better serve face just. I was like, yes.
It's hard to do that because you can't breathe very heavily. You gotta look dead.
But it was such a tender moment, and I feel like I have never seen this side of Freddie.
Exactly.
So good.
And I was just like, he is like Viola Davis, like borderline about to snot cry.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I feel like he was
borderline.
stock crying.
He did
Yeah.
stop crying.
I feel like I heard a couple.
No borderline
And
about
there,
it.
it just all came down. I was like, Freddie.
like he was in it. And, but rightfully so, because like, you know, he and his mom had such a very tight relationship, you know. But man, like, that
Chandler
was,
too. Chandler,
Yeah.
the two of them together, they really brought it.
Side note, the one thing that kept irritating me was Chandler's shirt.
Oh my god,
Because it looked
the hyper color, isn't that what they used to call
I
it in
don't
the
know what it's
80s?
called, but it
When
looked
That's
like,
like a tie-dye.
well, but it looked like sweat.
Yeah.
Like it looked like he
Oh,
was
like a stain.
sweating.
Yeah,
and I was just like,
No. Fashion myth, that's a miss. That's a designer days don't.
I was like, if it were a different color, tie-dye. But like different color of the same color, sweat.
Do you
I don't know what's going
remember
on.
the episode of Friends where they found out that Ross was the father of Rachel's baby and it revolved around a shirt and it was that kind of shirt? And I remember thinking then, I'm like, that's an odd looking shirt. No one should ever wear that. And then here we are, the year of our
There you
Lord,
go.
2020, and Chandler Massey shows up in one on Days of Our Lives.
Lord have
But
mercy.
yeah, he looked sweaty, he looked wet. It's just designer don't.
Yeah, I love
Designer
that.
don't.
Designer
Anyway.
don't.
All right, so we're already, so the accident and Victor and Xander's plan number one. Okay.
And it's just to cover Maggie's butt.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now moving on to Will, Sonny, Adrian, Justin, Abigail. Well, we kind of touched on it. Just the reactions. And
Well, so Victor and Xander are at the accident scene. They know that Maggie caused it.
yes.
They know that Adrian's dead.
yes.
They don't know.
They're at the hospital.
They're at the hospital, yeah. Then they realize that, or they overhear
Will
Will,
saying-
and so then,
It's like, perfect.
and Victor's like, he's gonna keep thinking, or it's gonna stay that way. He thinks he killed.
And Xander's
Adrian.
expression of
Yeah.
shock.
He was like, and that was interesting how that played out because I thought that they just left it alone. Like Will was the one that stepped forward and didn't say anything.
Nope.
And I thought maybe Victor and Xander would be a little bit more involved with that, but they just stepped back and just said, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Let him
Let it
assume.
play out.
Yeah.
But Victor was all about it. Xander had that moment of like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
realize what we're about to do?
Yeah.
So his face kind of was like, I'm not sure about this, Uncle Vic, but I'm gonna have to like kind of go with, you know.
And he went along with Victor without any kind of like, he didn't challenge Victor, and Victor didn't have to say like, do this or I'm gonna fire you. You know, like usually when Victor wants Xander to do something nowadays, Victor has to have some kind of leverage. But Xander went along with it, and I think it was Xander's attachment to Maggie. Like he doesn't want Maggie to suffer for this either. So I think it was easy for him to go along with Victor because of that reason, without having Victor, without needing to have Victor say like, do this or this. You know what I mean?
Will having to break the news to Sonny and Justin that he was the one that did it. And first off, between Sonny and Will first, when Sonny was like, what was so important that you couldn't wait until you got home? And I was like, oh, because all throughout the week, what did Freddie?
Call your mother.
What
Call
did
your
Sonny
mother.
kept
Don't forget to
saying?
call Sammy.
Don't forget to call Sammy. Don't forget to call. And he kept going, oh, and then suddenly what happened? Oh, and then something.
Yeah.
And then he's now in the car, and he's like, oh, let me just. And you could tell he was like doing it, but still, because, you know, we all kind of do. And then he must have looked down too long.
Yeah.
And then, but that was heartbreaking because even with him having to tell Justin, like Justin was in disbelief, like, and right before, because Days always does this, he says she's thought of you as her son.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. The whole build up
on.
to it, like they gave Adrian this spa day, and Will was like, "Oh, I'll cover for you at work."
Yeah.
Gave him the picture of the three of them and everything. The build up of it just made it. I feel like the writers were like, "We're just really gonna make this really like, you know, really gonna stab you in the gut with this one," and that's what they did.
I have to say, can I commit to this?
Yes.
I'm on Team Victor.
For covering it up?
Yeah.
Wowzers.
Really?
Just because I so don't want Maggie to know about this. I think I feel like Xander. It's like, I can't imagine, and Victor even said this, I feel bad for Adrian, but if something, you know, thank God the baby's okay, because if something had ever happened to the baby, Sarah's baby, Maggie would never be able to live with that.
And then what happened?
And then what happens, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, Maggie will not survive this.
It wasn't.
She will not survive this.
It wasn't until that happened that I was like, oh, yeah.
What about the baby switch? Do you
I
support
know,
that decision?
I have to.
But-
We're in too deep at this point.
Okay, but see, here's the thing, and
It's
that
horrible.
that brings us now to Brady, Kristen, Haley,
Yeah.
and JJ.
Oh.
Here's the thing. All throughout the week, because of what we already know, I kept going, "Oh, is this the moment? Is this the moment?" Is this
Yeah,
the moment?"
right.
So when Kristen was having her baby, and excuse me, sorry, she was having her complications, and they said the umbilical cord was wrapped around. I was like, "Oh, this is how the baby dies." But then the baby came out. And
Well, that's what like both babies came out
Came
perfectly
out-
normal and healthy, and I was like,
Okay.
this wasn't supposed to happen.
Writers,
And wait,
they're so tricky.
side note, them was some big ass babies that were born. Like them babies were huge. Like I was looking at those babies like those babies are 1 year old. They're not they're not 1 minute old. Them babies are huge. But it was they looked so beautiful together. The baby, Kristen, Brady, and I felt happy for them because I know that Kristen really wanted this. But
And
then,
Brady.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's Sarah with her beautiful baby, and then cut to Victor and Xander
In the nursery.
are in the nursery and find out that Eric and Sarah's baby had complications and died. And then Victor came up with the idea of switching the babies.
And the way that they did it was great. The way, I don't remember what Victor said, but the way the camera just like panned past Victor onto baby Black, you were like,
That's it.
oh, here we
Here
go.
Here we go.
Something's gonna happen.
And then it cut to Xander's in Sarah's room with the baby. And even Sarah was like, that baby looked different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it ain't yours. But then that started this effect.
Oh my God! And the fact that Victor did this to Brady. He doesn't
But-
give two hoots about
you-
Kristen.
But
the
that's
fact that
why.
he did this to
That's why he did
Brady.
it. That's why he did it. Because he.
Well, if it's between Maggie and Brady, he's gonna save Maggie.
But also.
He's also not. He doesn't want Brady tied to Kristen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not a Christian. He's like, I don't want them
That's
raising this
right.
devil spawn. You can hear Victor saying that. Like,
By the way, speaking of Victor, he had a line this week, and I was like, even in the face of tragedy, they gave Victor, like, he was talking about summer, and he's like, that recycled piece of California trash. I was like, oh. Yes,
So
Victor.
much.
So yes.
but with that, because enter Haley. Haley was with them all the step of the way,
encouraging
Kristen, giving her the what's it called, the Japanese haiku.
Yeah.
You know, to help ease her pain and everything like that,
Kristen
and
called her an
everything.
angel.
Help him with
Yes.
the pillows and everything. Yeah.
Oh, and what every mother has an angel, and today you'll have yours, or something like
like
that. She
that,
said
yeah.
something that
Pretty
was so
Like a
beautiful.
pretty baby.
Yeah.
Pretty baby.
And I was like, oh, no, you know some babies are ugly. But,
That's what I
"Aw."
thought too. I was like, really?
And so then when she took the baby away, I was like, I was like, oh gosh, like what happens to
What
the
is
baby?
gonna happen? Like I couldn't figure it out. Like what is going on?
Yeah, but I was like, what happens with the baby in Haley's care? And then when it showed, I was like, Haley had nothing to do with it.
She just was the messenger.
So then she walks in without the baby. Kristen is kind of like, where's my baby? Haley's like, oh, the doctor ain't in here to tell you.
Yeah.
And then she tries to go, let me go.
Yeah.
But what Days did was they created a bond with Haley and Kristen. So, you know, even as you know, Haley bolts out, Kristen leaps up and goes after her. And finally, you know, Haley broke down and says what happened. Kristen instantly blames her. And then tussle, and then boom. But I kind of feel like it wasn't intentional.
No, absolutely not. No.
Absolutely.
It was
And that's
truly
what-
an accident.
And that's been one of the
Anyone thinks it was
that's been one of the
intentional.
questions we've known that Kristen killed Haley, that she fell downstairs. We didn't know how it transpired, and so with Kristen's history, there was always that question with us. Kristen could have pushed her.
capable.
She's capable of it, but no, absolutely, it was just an unfortunate setting,
Yep.
and she slipped. And I think, and I don't know if this was a Stacey thing or if it was in the script, I feel like you almost saw her reach for Haley for a moment. You know, and so no, it wasn't, and it was just a very unfortunate accident.
And then afterwards, Kristen was she didn't speak.
She was
No.
she was just like
she was
shocked,
like
shell shocked. Yeah.
it was like she was vacant.
Somebody
Like-
described her as zombie.
Yeah,
You know, just
like the way that she, I think there was shock. I think there was disbelief. I think there was so much going on. Didn't know that Abigail was the one that discovered what happened.
and that shocked me. The next episode,
Yeah.
like, it was like, oh my God,
I was like,
Abigail's there.
Oh wow! And so Kristen just kind of walks away, and then
Just shocked.
and then when JJ and Abigail came together and he was like, excuse me, I have terrible news. She thought it was about Haley,
Yeah.
who JJ just saw, who we find out he was going to propose to
Propose.
her
Exactly.
Yes.
that night.
Yep.
Mother's Day from hell.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was that was a lot.
Shoot.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You say it and then apologize later. So like, so that was, for me, this week was so much to take in because there were there were 3 deaths.
Yep.
Yeah.
Adrian, the baby, and Haley.
And Haley.
All died on
At
Mother's
the
Day.
same. Like,
Within like an hour of
everything
each
feeds
other.
Yeah.
Everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Domino effect.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly what I thought.
And it
The
was like you
domino.
had like these storylines and they all converged
Yeah.
in the middle.
Converge, yeah.
And who was the catalyst?
Summer,
Summer was the
that
catalyst.
recycled piece of California trash.
She was the catalyst because had that not happened, then everything else wouldn't have transpired, which is kind of interesting. To think how like that one visit catapulted everything, all the events that happened.
Everything.
Changed everything.
What we forgot to mention was the nice little Mother's Day celebration that was happening with John, Marlena, Brady, Kristen, Eric, Holly.
Yeah.
Kristen and Marlena kind of reluctantly made a truce.
move.
Yeah.
Although Marlena's face was just kind of like, this bitch, fine.
Exactly.
she
She
wasn't
was like,
hiding her feelings.
whatever.
Definitely
Yeah.
not.
If I must, then I shall.
Yes. That's why she's Dr. Marlena Evans.
Yes. But then Eric came, but what is she? I was like, Eric, girl, calm down for 2 seconds. For 2 seconds, like, can you just? And I almost knew when he walked in how he was going to
Yeah.
react.
He's not going to change.
No.
It's like,
No.
calm down, Eric.
What you doing here?
Is that
What
the
you do?
Eric-
We
Who's a
missed that
psycho
voice
doing here?
Is that
last
the
week.
Eric voice?
Yeah.
I
Eric
tried to
character,
do it
not
last
Eric
week,
Martzel.
but it didn't
Right.
work.
What you do? Get out here. It's my mom.
And prior to that, there was a beautiful moment with Eric, Nicole, and Holly. Holly apparently made the nastiest pancakes.
The bird pancake.
Yeah, Eric kept eating them, and Nicole was like, basically like, "That's cute, honey, but
Nicole-
let's go to brunch."
Nicole was not about those pancakes from the
No.
minute she walked out the door. She's like,
Because she knows.
what do I smell?
Yeah.
But it was so interesting to see how Sarah and Xander were like,
Mhm.
and then
She was so nasty
She
to him
was
at the restaurant.
and then
oh my
it just
gosh.
it switched
Yeah.
as soon as he was there for the baby to be born.
Well, I'm glad
Yes.
Adrian said you really need to involve
Yeah.
him, call him.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
when she called him, then it was like, okay,
Then we see.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because she was not.
She was
she
so
was not
mean to
having
him. I felt
Xander.
so bad for Xander. There was that one moment in the restaurant where, everyone, Nicole, everyone's having their Mother's Day happiness, and Xander's all by himself at the table.
Poor
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, I forgot. Kristen's water broke over Marlena's shoes.
I know. Who's going to replace those
That
pumps?
was very,
Or
very
flats,
clever.
knowing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and we'll get into even more of that.
my
Let's
gosh.
quickly go into what I liked about this week was they always showed us present day before they went
so
Yeah.
love
back.
that.
So
Yeah.
I like that. It was very easy to follow, y'all.
Thank you.
It
Yeah.
was very
We
easy. It was like
appreciate it.
they started present day, then they went last Mother's Day, and then everything was last Mother's Day. But some things we find out. Sierra tells Will that he's innocent and didn't kill Adrian.
I love that Sierra did not miss a beat after
Yeah.
she found out, went straight to Will and was like, girl, you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Victor did it.
And Victor and Xander are very
But
worried.
you know what's going to happen?
What, Tammy?
I don't think Will's going to say anything.
Because he's gonna feel too
They're
bad
saying
for
that
Maggie.
they were talking about that in the
Yeah.
chat room earlier
He's
that
not
they
gonna
think
say
they don't think that
anything.
Will.
I don't think Sierra should have told him. She should have told someone.
Yeah.
But I don't think it should have been Will.
Well, I think it should have been Will because maybe someone else would have figured out, would have done. I don't know. I will say this: when the ball drops, I'm there with popcorn.
Oh my
Seriously.
gosh!
It's about
Because that's gonna be
Scotch.
another. That's gonna be
Scotch.
another crazy week.
Scotch
Yeah.
on
And we
the
still,
rocks.
the other thing we found out a lot. Like we found out all this stuff that happened during the time jump that we didn't see, and now we find out a lot. We still don't know what happened to Jordan. We still don't know how that whole
that's
thing.
right.
So that's gonna
That's
be
coming
another
up
week.
next.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be another week. But I support Sierra telling Will. I don't
She
think
should
Will
have
should
told
be.
Justin, somebody else, because he's not going to do anything.
But the
So someone
consensus
else-
in the chat room is what you said, that Will's gonna fall on the sword
He's
for
gonna
Maggie.
exactly,
Yeah.
and
Right.
so Sierra's gonna have to tell someone else.
Do you
But fast.
want Sierra to tell someone else because we think that Will's not going to say anything?
Yes.
That's why
Yeah.
someone else needs to
Yeah,
say something.
exactly.
Yeah.
Marlon Wallace would like Will to stay in prison and have a steamy prison romance.
Stop it.
Yes, shirtless scenes with Will and Ben, all the muscles,
Muscles.
the muscles.
Testicles.
Maggie consoles Sarah about baby Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got that. Xander, we already mentioned that they're worried about Sierra blabbing, and then
She's gonna be so mad at him.
oh yeah,
There's no chance for Sarah and Xander.
No,
after this.
not after that.
no,
There isn't.
No.
And that
No.
makes me really sad.
I know.
no.
Just
Right?
let them write it out for a little while. Give us a little, give us some of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this isn't going to be something that Sarah can be like, well, you meant well, I'll forgive you. No, this is. Mm-mm.
How is Xander not living with a guilty conscience?
He is.
I think he is, yeah.
He
But he's
is.
doing it for Sarah.
I
He
know,
is.
but after they found out that Mickey had cancer, he wasn't like, oh no.
I thought about
okay,
that too.
but here's the thing though, and maybe Freddie can touch on this when he comes in. And we kind of got a little bit of this when Ari was here talking about the Krikol storyline that she didn't know until like scripts later
True.
that they were the same person. So could it be that when the time jump happened that Xander didn't or Paul didn't know
story-wise.
that
So he didn't react that way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so they didn't
that's a
know
really good
how to
point.
play that
Yeah.
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, and I don't know what makes me think this. The whole Mother's Day 2019, I'm wondering if everything was aired in sequence that it was taped, or if they taped this Mother's Day 2019 prior to taping what's happened from the time jump to now.
It just made it.
And you know, one of the reasons I think is because Eric Martsolf had a shaved face when we came into the time jump, and he had a shaved face this week, which is easy. You know, we can easily shave. But I'm like, oh, I wonder if they shot this before the time jump to
Maybe
give
Freddie can.
the actors like context into what they were playing,
I
or if they.
doubt it,
I thought that, but then I'm like, no, maybe they were just like, nope, you gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone, you know what? I'm remembering someone did say in an interview when they were reading like the scripts when it was coming up to the point of the time jump, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, you're in jail or you're doing someone died,
Nobody
like,
knew
so maybe
anything.
I don't know. Something I pondered.
All right. And of course, we transitioned into what happened with Kristen when Kristen and Brady, because it actually went back to them in the office before Nicole came in and talking about. Wait, no, was that right? At least I thought that. I could be wrong. But anyway, they were just having a conversation about they needed to talk about that night, and so it transitioned.
Oh, they
into,
hadn't talked about it, and now
Yeah.
it's time. And
Yeah.
that was a really good moment.
It was. It was.
Where you
All
just
right.
said, okay.
Let's get into some business.
Let's get into some business. We want to take a moment to thank everyone for supporting DISHIN Days and supporting AfterBuzz TV and making AfterBuzz the ESPN of TV talk. You know, we say this every week, but in regards to you, the fans, you are why we are here. You are why AfterBuzz TV is here. And we're so thankful for your support. Please spread the word about our show. AfterBuzz TV, if you've got a favorite TV show, they've got a recap for it. So make sure to go to AfterBuzzTV.com, find your favorite show, and join the recaps here as well.
This announcement brought to you by the kind folks here at AfterBuzz TV. All right, let's quickly go into some tidbits, and then we go into our segments, and then Freddie Smith is going to be here, y'all, so stay tuned. The last time I checked, there were 229 people watching.
Hey,
the show.
229.
Yes.
That's big.
Freddie Smith up in here breaking the internet. All right, so Tony, Anna, Chad, Abigail, Gabby.
I was shocked.
This was an interesting little storyline that happened because I don't think we ever thought, how did Gabby become CEO?
I never did.
We just assumed,
we just accepted it.
We-
We're like, okay.
well, but I also think we just assumed that she became CEO because she was the wife of Seth.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
But little did we know, Ms. Anna
Demera.
Demera
Oh my gosh.
made a few phone calls.
Were you surprised by that?
I was a little surprised, but
But
I was
she
like,
threw him under the bus.
I
oh.
can't believe she did that. And then when she explained her reason, I don't want to lose you to this company.
Totally get it, but I was shocked.
Wow.
She didn't want Tony to end up.
In the martini shaker.
But when she said, because Tony was consumed with Demerit Enterprises, she was like, when we're on our honeymoon and you took us to Hong Kong and I'm shopping with Mrs. Shin because you're hanging out with Mr. Shin, it's like, it's not how I want my life to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her. So she did what she had to do to get her man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad she actually brought that up because up until that point, it's like, I cannot believe you did this to him.
Yeah.
But then when she said during the honeymoon, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not going to work.
But also, I thought for a second that was going to be, like, they literally brought Tony and Anna back to split them up.
Oh.
And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
there's no, because Tony was like, there might not be a future with us. And she's like, oh. She's like, well, I went and packed my bag, and they're bringing my car around.
And she also packed his knowing.
Yeah,
No, whatever.
But I like the dynamic between Chad and Tony, and Chad was basically like,
Him
this is
on
your
the
wife.
phone
Yeah.
with Shin, or with I was laughing out loud.
Because they were still
Oh
talking,
my
but
God.
then you still hear
It's so
Yeah.
funny.
him like yelling, and she's run some little boutique, and I'm like, there's a lot going
Awkward.
on. But that was a nice little button when she was just like, I packed your bag too.
Oh my
and
gosh,
hurry up,
that's
we're gonna
great.
miss our flight. I was like, this girl got everything planned out.
And then Teo aired that last moment where he goes to Chad and they hug each
They
other.
hug. That
He
was
posted that on Insta. And it's like, oh
Yeah.
my God. And it's like, until we meet again, seeds
It's
have been planted.
It's so
and
frustrating though when they bring, like, I like Tony and Anna, and I like them in the fold, and they brought them
Yeah.
back, and I had high hopes, and now,
I mean,
like, I'm
Ron
glad that
said
they're happy.
they
I'm glad that
didn't
they
have
kind of
time.
wrote off, but
Yeah.
Canvas time.
but I love
so
Leanne
much.
Hunley.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Anna,
Yes.
Yeah.
and I hope they come back eventually.
Yes.
Yes. And then we had the great moment with Eric, Nicole, and Holly, and we kind of discussed that. It showed us what life could have been like had everything not happened the way that it did.
Yeah.
They would have been very
Summer.
happy together.
Summer.
Trash.
Well, it wasn't summer. Their ball had already dropped when they found
Yeah,
out they
that's
were keeping
true.
that secret.
Yeah.
So
I
can't
keep
blame summer on
that I
one.
kept forgetting. Yeah, that
Yeah.
they the secret.
Yeah.
The baby
I
wasn't
forgot about
Eric's.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So many things to remember.
well, now we know the baby ain't even Eric.
I know.
Baby is Brady's. How about that?
Gosh.
In the chat room, they're saying the consensus in the chat room was that there was a double switch, and that Eric and Kristen's baby went home with some random woman, and the random woman's baby
Is the one that died.
is the one. Yeah.
Lord, that means every nursing person in the hospital need to be fired.
Right? That they're mixing up, and
it's like who Kayla needs to go and go. Who was working in the nurses station with the baby?
Well, Kayla herself.
You fired. You fired. You fired. Everybody fired. You, the doctor, fired. Because I kept thinking the doctor was gonna say something.
Well, yeah, Tammy and I were discussing that. Well, where's this doctor who knows what baby? it
Yeah,
was?
they know
Right.
which one
Did they get
died.
to her? Or did,
I said Victor paid her off.
Must have.
Victor must have, promised
she
her
got-
money for life.
They had to.
She probably resigned that day.
Yeah.
And
kind
now
of thing.
she's in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And that's why she didn't come back to Kristen's room to deliver the news.
Yeah.
Right. Because she
Because
gone.
it was a
she
doctor.
couldn't find her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That had to be it. But there's just, and we didn't talk about the scene between Jack and Adrian.
Oh.
And that. Oh my God. There's just so many people affected by this.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to talk more when Freddie comes in.
Yeah.
But we're going to get through our segments, and we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! Okay, so listen. I actually have down a 3 Snaps Award, but I'm now going to change it because I remember now originally what my 3 Snaps Award was. Oh, snap! But I'm going to give 1.5 snaps to the writers of Days of Our Lives for a killer Mother's Day 2019. However,
Never going to
comma,
Salem on Mother's Day.
No. However, comma, my other 1.5 snaps goes to a woman who did everything she needed to do to keep her man besides drug him and fake a pregnancy. And that is Anna DeMera.
Yep.
Anna DeMera said, you know what? I love my man too much. I carried around an urn or a martini shaker for years. You not going to end up back in there. I'm going to make some phone calls. Boom, cat. Gabby is that.
Yeah.
We going away. Say bye to everybody. The flight's about to leave. So, Leanne Hunley, Anna DeMera, you get Tony's 1.5 3-Snap Award. All right, and now it's time for... He bumped it up a little bit.
I know,
Yeah,
that sounded
I was like,
great.
I felt it.
So I was saying to Michael before the show, like I almost gave, just hospital gowns in general the designer days because
Yeah.
everybody was in a hospital gown
Uh-huh.
this past week. But, out of the choices, we decided to give it to Ms. Kate Mancy. She is here in a twist bandeau jumpsuit by Topshop and a double-breasted blazer also by Topshop. The blazer is out of stock, but it's in this beautiful gold, almost looks like a, I don't know.
It's like a.
It's not cotton. It's, it's got that
Yeah.
shimmer to it. Beautiful, beautiful gold color. Kate Mancy, you get this week's.
And now it's time for. Oh my God! What happened in the chat room?
No, I'm laughing at the caption because.
Oh, me too.
Okay, so. This,
But when you say it, you have to like. Say
yeah, I
it.
know. I gotta deliver.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this week's caption that comes courtesy of Ari Zucker Ari Zucker. Greg Vaughn's in the picture too, but it's mostly Ari Zucker. And this week, the first submission I had was the winner, and I knew it. It's Amy Bumgardner, who is in the chat room now. Amy, who's at Amy Bumgardner on Twitter, with her with her caption. Bitch ass Eric, what does your stupid ass want?
That I saw
Bravo.
that and that was
I laughed out loud, and I sent it to all of them, and I was like, "That's the quickest I've ever gotten." Like, captioned that, and so there you go, Amy. Congratulations on your bitch ass Eric. What does your stupid ass want?
But you know what? It's almost like what we all think.
Well, I know, like I'm like accurate. That's
like Eric walks in and is like, bitch ass Eric. Oh, so stupid ass one. And that has been Caption That. And now it's time for
Hey, what? It's like, aww. Well, our moment of the week goes to Adrian and Justin. I love all the flashbacks that they had this week. Very emotional. And then this one with the handkerchief, he gives it to her, and then Justin says, I always felt like her knight in shiny armor. And, just gives me all the feels.
I loved all the flashbacks that they had.
So
they were really good.
Really great.
So good.
And Wally and his hair back
His
in the
mullet
day.
is fabulous.
Yeah.
Such coiffed
He
hair.
rocked it.
Just great.
Coiffed hair.
The Adrian and Justin, you get my all moment of the week. Hey, what? Aww. Okay.
And shout out to Me World, who has his oh shiz moment of the week. It's a
Which
sad
one?
It's a
okay.
says is a sad one as it reveals the true identity of Adrian's killer.
Yeah.
Yep.
There were a lot of those. A lot of those moments.
And it has now been retweeted. And now let's
Hashtag don't drink and drive is Me World's message.
And don't text.
And don't text.
And don't
There's a lot of
lessons
by
learned.
the way. Yeah.
Lots of lessons.
Yeah.
And now let's get into some news and gossip. AfterBuzz TV News.
Just a couple little things we would like to mention, just as a reminder. You can come help us celebrate DISHIN Days' 5th anniversary this March. And at the same time, support the Los Angeles lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, LGBT, I should know that, LGBT Center. Join us the weekend of March 21st and 22nd for our quintennial event here in Burbank, California. Joining us will be Days stars Billy Flynn, Kate Manzi, Stacey Hayduk, Paul Telfer, Scott Shilstone, Eric Martzoff, and Brock Kelly, and Miss Jen Lilly.
Yay.
$10 of every ticket sold will be donated to the Los Angeles Gay and Lesbian Center. So very good organization here in Greater Los Angeles to support. You can get all of the info and buy your tickets at SpectrumCelebrityEvents.com.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You guys looking
Yeah,
forward to
Yeah,
it?
no, it's going to be great
Really
because most of the hosts, including the previous host of DISHIN Days, will be in attendance.
Excellent.
Yes.
So it's going to be a really, really great event. So you guys, please make sure you go to SpectrumCelebrityEvents.com and make sure you purchase your tickets now,
Yes.
today. Do it. Go for it. There we go. Now. Done.
Yep.
Okay.
And don't forget, we have Soap News Weekly, Tammy and I, on Thursdays every week at 6:15. So be sure to check us out. Tune in.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. The moment you all have waited for. Live in our studio, we have Mr. Freddie Smith. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, this week has just been Mother's Day 2019.
Never
in Salem.
going to Salem on Mother's Day.
That was a
Yeah.
lot. That was a lot to put in.
It almost seemed like it was 6 months worth of episodes in
Yes.
5
Oh my
days.
God,
Yeah.
It was just fire, like every second.
Yeah, because I felt like there's been such build up to what happened with Adrian, what happened with Brady and Kristen's baby, and Haley, and the writers just were kind of like, all right, Mother's Day, everything went down. And all this week, I was just sitting there with popcorn, like, like all week. Like it was good stuff, and it was great performances, and it was like so much to take in. But it was all the stuff that we've been wanting to know.
Absolutely.
It was so.
It
good.
wasn't anticlimactic because we've been
Absolutely not,
waiting
no.
so long for these last
Yeah.
little threads to get tied up.
Yes.
It's like, this better be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of great performances, we had an amazing performance from you And
Why,
we
thank
want to
you.
take a look at that
All right.
before we get into all the stuff.
All the stuff. Let's
All
do
the
it.
stuff.
So let's take a look at a little clip from, nope, not that clip.
Clip 2.
That the clip 2. Yep, this one. When Sonny says goodbye to his mother.
And it looks like she's sleeping. How can this have happened? Why was she even on the road? Sarah was in labor. She had to take her to the hospital. Her last good deed. But it's Mother's Day. And it should have been perfect for her. She just couldn't sit there and just enjoy it. She could. It wasn't her.
Ugh.
You just need to stop that right now.
Like we were when we were talking about the storyline. One of the things we brought up was the fact that this is another side of Sonny that obviously we haven't seen because of this horrible tragedy. But you really went there, and you really took us there, and you really made us feel what that moment was like for Sonny. As an actor, what did you have to do to make yourself be that vulnerable and really go there and really put out this dynamic performance?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of layered. The fact is that it wasn't like a guest star spot where I came in for a day and people didn't know the backstory, or I didn't have a connect. It's not like I didn't have a connection with Judy Evans.
Of course.
All that growth as a person, as a character, all went into it. And then there was something super special about working with Wally and Judy in those moments. So all of that kind of naturally added to it. When you're doing something emotional, I don't know how other people do it, but for me, you wake up and you're in a good mood, you go to work. Sometimes you're not sad.
Yeah.
So what I do, I'll listen to music or I'll look at videos on YouTube, anything that can be touching or sad, something to get me in my body in actual sadness. And then I just allow my acting to take it from there.
Yeah.
But if you just try right now, I mean, I could fake it good enough or maybe get watery eyes, but to get that kind of emotion,
Yeah.
you have to put your body in that. Because it's like when you're really crying in real life, you'll look in the mirror and cry harder. As soon as you feel it going, you just let it out because you know it's going to be a great performance. Where in real life, sometimes you hold it in because you don't want to make a mess of it, or you're watching America's Got Talent and you'll cry a little.
Yeah.
You could get there if you forced it. So once you're there, you're this is a moment when I let everything go. I had things running out of every orifice of my body.
It's not crying.
I described it as the Viola Davis not cry, because whenever Viola Davis cries, she is in it. She's bawling. There's a ball of snot that comes out. You feel all, and she just lets it go. Yeah. I was now that's that was very Viola Davis snot cry of you to do that.
Yeah, that's the goal. It's first you want to book a show, then you want to win an Emmy, and then you got to do a snot cry. So that was that. But yeah, it was and it was really touching because I heard a lot from people on social media sharing that it brought them back to when they lost a parent or a loved one, and they were saying that it was connected with how they felt, and it was the best compliments I ever could have got. This was a monumental moment that I think I'll always remember in my career.
Yeah.
Because to pull off this, not only was what I brought to the table, but the writing, everything about it just ended up perfect.
Yeah.
And I just feel happy to be a part of that little cocktail, if you will.
Yeah. Now, what we were trying to figure out was because obviously when the time jump happened, and there was all this, you know, Adrian has died, and we all didn't know. When did you all like finally get the script that showed what happened? Was it like weeks after like the time jump was announced? Like, what was that timeline?
Yeah,
like?
We never know. I mean, we only know, you know, like a week out.
Yeah.
And even if we ask, like the producers were like, so hey, like what's going to happen? They'll give us maybe a little bit of like, we're getting the script 3 days later.
Yeah.
They never tell you so far ahead. So there was a time when Will was in prison and I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
He's like, I killed your mom. And I said, well, how? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That is so bizarre.
So we were acting like when I was at the Horton Town Square, like crying with my dad at one of the very first episodes, like I didn't know how she died.
So as an actor, you just have to make up something.
Yeah, I was just like, you know, I just imagined, you know, just death in general rather than a specific.
Yeah.
But I knew it had to have been like an accident, so I thought it was like a gun going off, is what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think car crash, but then I heard texting and driving, I go, oh wow. But I'm happy this week came out because the twist with Maggie, we did know for the longest time.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, and then there's, you know, I've hinted on another video that I was doing is that there's just more twists that keep coming.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy now that it's like all out there. But I would have just loved to have seen the writing room of like all the post-it notes of like, all right, let's pull these strings. Like, how are we gonna do this? And I was just blown away.
It was all so beautifully done.
Oh, Freddie, raise your mic up just a little bit. Give us a little bit more Brittany. There you go. Yeah, because we tried to figure out. We really wish we had a diagram, but like how,
like an accident diagram of who was going what way in the cars, and
because we kind of decided that Adrian and Sarah were going this way, so then that made Maggie come this way, so then they swerved. She went that way, but then Will saw what was happening and swerved that way.
And he wasn't really paying attention to the car in front of him because he was busy texting.
So then that's how he ended up on the side of the road that way, and they ended up in the trees. That's what we came up with.
And he wasn't paying attention, so he thought he caused this car to swerve off.
Because he was looking down too long.
Yeah.
I think he I think the accident or something already happened, and then he was the aftermath of that.
Yeah.
But something else caused the car to
There was
go
even
crazy.
a dialogue where Will said, "I must have swerved into the lane."
Yeah.
So he was. So he doesn't even know whether he did or not.
Yeah. Well, because you know we've seen the texting and driving commercials where like you know they're looking down and then for 1 second like everything happens.
Yeah.
So another great scene was with you and Chandler when Will told Sonny that he was the one that was such another layered performance because you know here you are feeling like, oh, here's my husband comforting me in what's happening, and then realizing like
he's confessing.
Yeah. Like just the dynamic that you and Chandler have is so good, and that scene was like again another heartbreaking scene because classic Days, they built everything up to be like so lovingly between Sonny and Will and Adrian and Justin and the whole Mother's Day and the gift and I'll go cover the Spectator for you
and have another baby. I think we forgot to mention that part. I think we forgot that tidbit.
Yes, we forgot that tidbit that they agreed to have another baby, and I was like, oh my god, like, and then boom,
bam,
life happens.
I know. Yeah, it was you know, Chandler and I have had such a journey. And it's all of those journeys that lead up to being able to perform a scene like that. And, you know, I really think the ultimate, I was thinking about this the other day, I think that the chemistry comes from him and I making choices during taping.
Yeah.
I did not know what he was going to do. Like, we ran it probably 20%. No tears, no anger, just kind of just like, you know, why are you so busy? Like, why are you busier than everyone else? And you just run it. So during the scene, when we're both bringing it, we are both impacting each other.
Yeah.
So I think we keep trying to almost one up, and he's more sorry and I'm more hurt, and then he's even more sorry. So we don't have it planned, and I think that plays a portion of our chemistry, is that we have similar acting techniques where we make choices live rather than making preset choices.
Yeah, you're honestly responding
to the
one
person.
another.
There's listening and there's reacting, and it just works. But yeah, it was incredible to watch Chandler and Wally, because I was so invested in my own emotion that day. I couldn't, clock out when, Wally's got a monologue. I can look at the lights out there and like take a second and still be listening.
Right.
But that scene, I had to be so internal about my emotion to keep it there that I couldn't watch them as my friends acting.
Yeah.
So when I got to watch the episode, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So how do you keep yourself in that space?
Once it's rolling.
Once you're there, it's just...
Yeah, once you're rolling, you just, and you also lose a little bit of anxiety once you have tears. It's almost like you're like, oh God, all right, I'm here. This is going well. And you don't have the nerves of like, what if I don't cry?
Yeah.
That goes away when you finally like start it. And then the mood of the set is also helping you. Like everyone's aware of how hard this is to do in one take. And so from the cameras to the boom to the directors, producers, like the energy around the set, people are super respectful, and everyone's kind of just like, it's very quiet, it's very still.
Fascinating.
Hey, Freddie, whenever you're ready.
Was
Because
there-
I'll go and look at my phone
Wow.
sometimes in between, not to interrupt you, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'll look at my phone in between scenes, and if I'm like losing it a little bit, I'll just go back, watch another touching video. I'll be like, and then I just walk in, and they know as soon as I walk, they go 4, 3, 2, Mom.
Yeah.
And then what I was just watching, I was almost crying, and then I just put it into the character. So I
Yeah.
did that a lot on those days.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, was there ever a point where you were like in it, and then it was like, okay, that's lunch, and you had like an extended period of time between like where the scene picked up, and you had to put yourself, you kind of just described it,
Yeah.
like had to get yourself back into that point, or
It was scheduled in a way that I didn't have to do that. We definitely didn't shoot both episodes like in the same day. Like there were breaks, but not in between the actual set. I think they probably scheduled it that way because that's real tough.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
like because I know you guys have this shooting schedule, and when all the sets are up and with all the people, it's like you have to bang out as much as possible. And I was wondering
Yeah.
if like all of these emotional scenes had to be shot on the same day, or did they like, was it scheduled in a way like you had one emotional taping day and then another, or was it just all the same day?
I think it was 2 days. I think the actual 23rd episode on Thursday, I think saying goodbye to Adrian, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was 2 or 3 days. But they were never broken up like by a lunch. It was
Got it.
it was
Yeah.
done. So
Yeah.
I think with days they schedule. If there's going to be a love scene, if there's going to be a stunt, if there's going to be a big group scene or a huge emotional scene, I think they take a little more notice of what those are rather than just you and I at the Brady Pub having coffee and you saying like, oh.
They know the emotional investment that's going to be in them, and so that's considerate of them.
Yeah, because they know what we're trying to pull off
Yeah.
is insane, considering that we don't have a whole day to do just that one scene. We have 15 minutes.
And
Can
do
you
go-
imagine?
Oh, sorry.
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, and then with those takes with you crying, you got that all in one take, or did it take a couple of times for you to get back into it? Because I know you said you had to look at your phone and then get back into it. But with those big ones where you were just bawling, did you end up getting that in one take, or was that kind of cut into pieces?
No, that was all. All of them were in one take.
Yeah.
But maybe there was one that was two. I don't remember. But it was in between a scene where like maybe, where Wally was hearing from Chandler about what happened, and I was kind of in the background. I was kind of a little more simmer because it wasn't my scene. But then maybe the scene after it was me crying again, so I would go in between the scenes and look at the video. But yeah, I think we rehearsed it maybe at like 30-40%, and then we just went. And I remember even apologizing to one of the makeup artists because she ran into set in between, and she went to like dab my eyes, and I like batted her hand away, and I was just like, don't touch my face, because there was comfort in how I how I felt.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
how people play characters when they put on like glasses or a hat,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
there was something
become.
about my eyes feeling like I was sad.
Yeah.
And so after I shot everything, I went to her and I go, I am so sorry. I said,
Oh.
I appreciate you. It was really important for me. She goes, you should have. She goes, I totally understand. But I felt like bad because I was like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm crying. These scenes are going perfect. I need my face to feel a certain way. So there's a lot of that goes into it. So it's a little nerve-wracking to watch because I'm sitting there on the couch at home being like, damn, if I had to do that tomorrow,
Right.
could I do that again?
Yeah.
You know, because
It's
it
a
takes a lot of
muscle.
work.
You know what's a good one? The last 30 minutes of the movie Beaches. If you need to cry,
Oh.
well, actually, it helps if you watch the whole thing, the build up. But
Yeah.
that always gets me. Like the last half of Beaches, I'm just a sobbing mess with like The Wind Beneath My Wings playing,
Yes.
and
Songs
Yeah.
always make me cry.
Yeah.
Mariah's Can't Take That Away, Mariah's theme. I always cry at the same part all the time. I don't know what it's like she gets an octave higher and I'm just like in my feelings and like I'm crying. There's other songs that make me cry, but it just reminds me of how single I am, and that's a different kind of song. It's a
But
totally
all the
different
tears,
kind of
though, look the same.
They do.
So sometimes it's even if it's like a touching tears, you can turn it into sadness through
Yeah.
acting, but you actually have a genuine. So keep that in your
Oh, trust me, I
playlist
do.
in case you ever need to cry. Just listen to it and
Oh yeah.
let yourself go there.
Now everyone has questions about your beard. They're wondering.
it's a big
yeah.
conversation in the chat
It
room
is.
right now.
They're like, is it a character choice or is it just because they haven't been on in a while? And I'm like, I kind of feel like it's just because you're off.
Oh,
You've
yeah,
just been enjoying yourself. You let your hair grow. You let your hair down.
Yeah.
So that's. I mean, if you guys watch Freddie's Instagram stories enough, or pay attention to the Freddie and Alyssa podcast, which you can
Yes.
find on YouTube, and all where podcasts are available, you would know that he's just, living his
Growing
life
it.
right now.
Because I wake up every morning and I shave.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice just that I've been letting it go, and I should have actually trimmed it up and made it a little nicer.
No, it looks great.
But but I still have like a little, like I could have trimmed it a little bit nicer. But I'm trying to keep it clean. But yeah, when we go back, I'm gonna have to shave temporarily, and then I'm gonna maybe try to like grow it because I've been talking
Yeah.
about it for like 6 years. So I think it's time I actually ask and,
That you actually
and
do
see,
it.
and I think it could add something cool to the character. And I'm getting older, and I think 32 with the beard is cool. I think
Yeah.
24 with the beard would have been weird. It's better to
Would've
be
been weird.
babyface.
Yeah. Oh, the transition of Sunny, because
Yeah,
everyone goes
maturity.
through a transition on the show where like they get a little older, their look kind of changes a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
It may be time for Sunny to do a little upgrade.
Let's call it an
Yeah.
evolution instead of a transition.
There you go.
Okay.
like that.
Okay, whichever word makes you feel better.
So I had a question. You said typically when you're working on your scenes, you're not always aware of what the other scenes are about. What the other storylines
Yeah.
are. So when you were watching this week, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. What storyline surprised you the most?
Well, I was trying to think of how to say this, but essentially, what surprised me the most was the scene in the nurse's station where Victor and Xander literally overheard Will saying he did it, and they didn't say anything.
Okay.
Because obviously, this isn't a spoiler. That will eventually come to fruition at some point.
Ooh, when that ball drops.
So, I remember like when that happened, but I didn't know the backstory of it. You just kind of get the information. So even if someone told you like, oh, Victor knew and didn't tell you, I'd be like, then I was able to act that. But to see it,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's how it went down. Like they actually knew.
Yeah.
Like that's tough. And then he switches the babies, like just all of it. It
Yeah.
was insane, and the fact that Adrian was still alive. Like I think I remember that, but when she was alive and then she passed out and then she didn't make it, and so the whole thing was surprising to me
Yeah.
because I didn't know all the details.
What was your reaction knowing that Adrian was obviously killed off, which means that we wouldn't see Judy Evans back on the canvas? What was that thought process, or how did you feel about reading that, especially because you guys have such a great connection and great bond that now all of a sudden this time jump happened and it's like, wait, what? She's gone?
Yeah, I don't really know the like I don't really know like why. Like it was kind of like a you know, unless they have plans for like, you know, Bonnie to be full time or something, or you know, no one's ever really dead, I guess. Like she could always come back, but that's gonna be that's a pretty tough one to come back from. You know what I mean? So
that would be cruel almost.
Yeah. So I was kind of sad. I wasn't like I was kind of confused, but I was really sad in the sense that like I'm not gonna be able to work with Judy. And because Sonny and Bonnie don't have a relationship. But there was nothing like me and my mom on the show, and when they did a flashback to our wedding, remember that in one of the episodes? I'm like, oh my god, it is weird the amount that I don't remember because, and I don't think maybe the audience does either. There were so many episodes. But when I look back, I'm like, I don't even remember doing that stuff.
You know what? That's weird because when they showed that, I was like, I don't remember that. And for a second, I was like, wait. Did they film that just for this? And I was like, no, because her hair is like different. And I was like, was I looking down during that episode? Was I
cleaning the house?
Well, it was like, what
happened?
Five? Sonny and Will's wedding. I want to say at least 5 years ago.
It was a few years ago, but still, those are moments that you want to remember.
That was with Guy Wilson. So that was in 2014. So about 5-6
years ago.
Whoa.
So that's a lot of episodes. Monday through Friday, Monday through Friday. So you just forget, but you look back and I was like, wow,
it was
like
a beautiful moment.
It was so beautiful, and so I'm just really sad. I saw Judy recently, and I just love her to death, and I hope she's back. Which people are always open to it, but it was just a whirlwind. We were like, I'm like Wally, like what's going on? Like so. But just how it is. That's why, you know, in those circumstances too, as a person, I always feel just super grateful because it's a revolving door over there of people coming and going, and so I just always feel grateful to be a part of it. And I'm like, all right, another year, here we go, another year, you know.
Well, I have to say, just from an outsider point of view, that I love the storyline's tough and extraordinarily sad, but for you and for Wally to have been given this opportunity to work like this,
you know,
gold.
Wally made in our Day of Days interview with him, I remember him saying that the time jump led him to some of the most, what did he say, how do you call it, the most challenging material he's ever worked with, and I think that's what we saw this week with him. So I just remembered when he said that, I was like, wow, I couldn't imagine what was going to happen. But now that we're seeing it, it's like, oh, this must be what he was talking about.
It was a lot of emotions this week, and you guys really put us through it. Like I was, and because of the impeachment trials, I had to watch it on my phone through the NBC app. But I was sitting there. I was actually on set yesterday with my phone and one earbud in, like, oh no, But it's just, it was a lot. But you guys did such an amazing job. So kudos to you and Wally and Judy, because she looked flawless sitting there. Like she was laying there, and I was like, "Come on, face!" Like she was just still giving it.
I read some of her. She recently did an interview for Soap Opera Digest, and she said it was hard, like with Freddie doing his thing and Justin doing, or Wally doing his thing. That as she was laying there, she had to be completely still and lifeless.
Her.
Yeah.
He would
and she's
for
like,
her
that's harder.
And
She made a comment, it was harder than like anything because you have to stay completely still.
Yeah.
And she wanted to get emotional and she couldn't.
She had little tears pooling in the side of her eyes, and so in between takes, the makeup had to come and like dab her eyes, and she's like, "You guys are doing so good." They're like 5, 4, 3. You're doing so good. So she stayed, you know, quiet. I mean, she had to like stay still, and she's so emotional. I mean, she can cry on like she's very receptive and very in touch with accessible to her emotions.
We saw that in the flashback when she was crying. Like she was really crying.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Were you there at all during the stunt when Haley gets pushed down the stairs?
I don't think so. I think I worked that day and they were shooting it early, and
because that was such a cool moment.
Yeah,
you look like stunt wise.
I think I meant to mention this earlier, but I think I know which stairs those are.
Production office.
Yeah, it's like, because I was like, those stairs look familiar. And I was like, huh, which? And I was like, oh, it's the stairs that, you know, you go up to the production office. I used to go up there back when I used to do background work on it, but I don't do it anymore. And sign, and I was like, oh, that's so cool how they made that part of the hospital and made it where she fell.
Is that the stairs that also go down to the dressing rooms?
I think they started at, I think maybe them moving into it was shot in the lobby where it goes down to the dressing rooms.
Okay.
But the tumble and fall
was up there.
So when she was on the ground and Kate Mansi ran over,
Yes.
that wall directly behind her is the makeup room.
Yes. So
Got it.
that's where the second door of the wardrobe is.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
like the first door is
It's
when you
over
first
here,
walk in,
yeah.
but then if you go down that hallway, we are just giving too much. Don't listen to that. Don't try to map it out, y'all. So we're gonna take some phone calls because we have a bunch of people that would like to call in and chat with you, and we definitely want to make sure that we give those people that opportunity. So listen, when you guys call in, because it's gonna be a bunch of y'all, keep it short, keep it cute. Let's move it along. Okay? So the number to call is 424-354-8302. That's 424-354-8302. Now, something else that was mentioned in the chat room, and something that I actually thought about, was when Will and Sunny agreed on having another kid. My first thought was, well, how are they going to do it this time? Are they going to adopt, or will they have a biological kid from Sunny? Through like
surrogate.
Yeah. Did y'all think about that? Was there ever like a thought of like, how would we have our next kid?
Yeah, we got into it a little bit, and then everything got paused. So I was like, maybe if and when we ever resolve this, that would be a cool storyline to talk about, go through the adoption process. I'd like to actually learn through the character what that's like. But also, too, are we going to adopt? And I thought of that as well. Well, Will has a biological kid.
Right.
Maybe Sunny will have a biological kid.
Yeah.
So they've got options. So if they ever go back to that storyline, that'd be really cool to see.
That would be neat. Because I don't know, the way, this is Tony speaking, I would have this, how do I say this? I would almost ask Gabby to be the surrogate.
Again. So
that way they're at least half siblings. Does that make sense?
That would be amazing.
Yeah. So like so each one of
you
them.
would want it to be you wouldn't want them to like mix their stuff and then have a
see which one gets there first.
Well, no, I think you could I think you can mix together two samples. I think
from two men, and this way you don't know.
Then it's both theirs, and then it's just it's
a 50-50 shot of who will be the biological parent.
Well, I guess there still needs to be an egg from a mother, so then it's that.
But that's what I'm saying. The egg would come from Gabby.
Gabby, got it. Okay.
And then Sunny's.
And they would still all be family.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so sorry. We're sitting here talking about Sunny stuff.
We like to be educational as well as entertaining.
Very educational here on.
Even though we don't know what we're talking about.
No. But we seem like we
like to think we do.
All right, we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's DISHIN Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Tony. This is Susan from Las Vegas.
Oh,
Susan from Vegas.
How are you?
I'm good.
Sound like you're at a party.
If you give my kudos to this guy. He did so good this past week.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
All right, well, listen, you guys have a good week, and I just wanted to pass that along.
You're awesome.
Aw, you have a good week too, Susan.
Thank you, Susan. Appreciate you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Susan. That's how you do it.
Grammy party.
Susan is becoming one of my favorites because last week she called, and I believe it's the first time she called, and she was like, "What y'all doing?" And then we were like, "Oh, okay. All right, Susan." I love her. Shout out to Susan in Vegas. All right, we have another caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's DISHIN Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Kimberly from Maryland.
Hey, Kimberly from Maryland.
Kimberly.
You're on live with Freddie. Do you have a question or comment for him?
Yes, I have a question. Did Sunny ever get a job? And if you haven't got one, what do you want to do in Salem?
Oh.
Well, Sunny, no, he's jobless. You know, he's just living the dream and the Kyriakis family
Trust
fortune.
fund,
Yeah. But I think it'd be really cool if Sonny were able to start his own business again, do something venture off, or I always thought it'd be cool to like run for mayor.
I could see him in a
Yeah.
political office. Definitely.
That'd be fun, you know, do some speeches in the Horton Town Square,
Yeah.
have like a sign with my picture on it,
Yeah.
rally people together.
Kyriakis for mayor. Interesting.
What do you think, Kimberly? Do you see me as a mayor? I have to shave.
I mean, Jack was mayor, so anybody can be mayor.
Dang.
How quickly we forgot that one.
Well, this is true. This is true. Well, thank you, Kimberly, for calling in. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kimberly.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. And we have another caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey guys, it's me, World.
Hello,
Me World.
Okay, so Me World has come up with his own segment called the Oh Shiz Moment of the Week.
Okay.
And we retweet it every now and then, but
It's fabulous.
It's amazing. He edits his own little video of his moment of the week, and we share it, and it's
cool.
great. So, hello,
Yeah,
Me
check
World.
it out anytime.
Yes. What, do you have a question or comment for Freddie?
Actually, I have a comment for Freddie.
Okay.
Freddie, Sonny.
Hey,
Oh
hey.
man, you almost made me cry, man.
Aw.
I was so close to burn my eyes out. That was fantastic performance, and I'm not a Sonny fan. Just to let you know, I'm not a Sonny fan at all. But
That's a
she made
compliment.
me
Yeah.
really,
Yeah,
really
well, thank
emotional,
you.
and that was awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Viola Davis will be so proud, as I posted in the comments in one of your channel videos.
Oh, awesome, man. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, that's our goal. We always try to make an impact and affect the audience in an emotional way, and I feel we did that this week. So I appreciate the compliment.
You've
Yeah,
been,
no problem. Yeah,
It's
we
been
appreciate the episodes each time you guys are on set and you are bringing each scene very dramatic. Really, I love this show. That's why I watch this show every day.
Yeah.
Not just for the drama, but for the action and the romance and moments like this also. They connect with each character on a
Yeah.
deeper level.
Well, thanks for being such a loyal fan. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
That was
thank you,
beautiful.
Me
Yeah, no
World.
problem.
Me World.
Thanks, Me World. We
Anyway.
oh, go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Also, one last thing. Can we get Chelsie Massey on this set so that somebody can stop talking about it?
We are. I'm going to explain to Freddie what that means. So, but thank you, Me World, for calling in, and we're still working on.
We're working on it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Me World.
Thanks, man.
So,
To get Chandler on set?
no,
On here, yeah.
on here.
Oh.
One of Chandler's biggest fans always ask us when Chandler is coming in. So that's what Me World's comment was can we get him in so that way we can finally satisfy one of our Chandler Massey fans.
Awesome.
Biggest
awesome.
Chandler Massey fan.
Biggest, yes. And he wants to see Michael Mattis in skin-tight Wrangler jeans.
Yeah.
Really?
It makes me laugh. Oh, no,
I know what makes you laugh.
No. But now Mark is added to that list.
I
So
know.
it's me, you, and Mark.
I think
that he
Ryan's
wants to see.
next.
Well,
The boys are back in town.
Freddie, you're next. You're next. That's what's going to happen. All right, we have another caller. Oh my gosh, who does this show? We have another caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello. Oh, that one is gone.
That one is gone.
Is this one here?
Here we go.
Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Mike Riley from New York. How is everyone?
Mike Riley.
Oh, Mike
Hey,
Riley.
Mike.
All right, I will be as brief as I possibly can. You know that's tough for me.
It is.
Hey, Freddie, I just want to say I'm a huge fan, and I think, honestly, you should be very proud of yourself for what you did and what aired this week, because you were nothing short of sensational, honestly. Your work was breathtaking this week.
Thank you so much.
I mean, the still moments were just as powerful as, like, the overly emotional ones. And you, Guy, and not Guy, listen, we were talking about Guy before.
I know.
Sorry. You, Chandler, and Wally were amazing. And if I may just add very quickly before I go, Wally is never really given storylines where they ask him to really push himself, and we all know that he's capable. And he was stellar. When he came and announced to Sonny that Adrian died, that flutter in his voice and the way he choked out the words was incredible. Judy and Wally need to be recognized as daytime royalty, because they really, really, really are. So just great work, all of you.
Wow, Mike, thank you so much. I totally agree. Yeah, they are extremely talented, and my performance I owe to reacting to Wally and Chandler's emotion, because the flutters in his voices, the choices he made, just made that moment that much more real for us.
For sure. Yeah. I bet Chandler wishes Will was driving his Tesla that week. They could have solved a lot of problems.
Probably.
Anyway, have a great night. I'll let other callers call in.
Awesome, Mike.
Thanks, Mike Riley.
You're great. Do we have another caller? We do. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's DISHIN Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, hey everybody, this is Jamel from Brooklyn.
Hey, Jamel.
Hey, well. Hey, stranger.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Doing well.
Well, you're on live with Freddie. You have a question or comment for him?
Well, you know what? I don't want to be a downer, but I will say that the performance, again, like everybody's saying, it was just breathtaking. It was wonderful. I didn't want to be a downer, but I lost my mother about 2 years ago, and I think the scenes that you did when you were, you were over her, it was very familiar to me, and it was just very close to home. So I just think that it was surreal to actually see it play out on the program, because I wasn't keeping up with the spoilers. But when a major character like this had this event, I was shocked, and it was very moving. It really sort of took me back to my own personal situation that I had a couple of years ago. So it really was. It was wonderful. It was something I couldn't even explain. And I had to call this week because it really caught me off guard. I really will say.
Well, thanks. Thanks, man. And so sorry for your loss. And I appreciate the compliment. We worked very hard to make it as real and moving as possible, and so I really, really appreciate that.
Well, thank you, and I hope everybody have a good night. I'm still watching. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, we're gonna take one more caller. This is the last one. You're the last one. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's DISHIN Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Dwight Flemings from Louisville, Kentucky.
Hey.
What's up?
Hi, Dwight.
I have a question for Freddie.
Go ahead.
Yes.
What was it like working with Chandler Massey for all those time jump storyline scenes?
They were. He is. He's just a phenomenal actor, and having someone work opposite you that's that talented makes my job easier and more able to make it believable. So I kind of owe him and Wally and everyone involved in those scenes just as much credit, because without them, I don't know if I would have been able to put a performance together like that. So, yeah, it's incredible working with him. I just feel very blessed that we got paired up in 2011, and we've been creating something special here over this past almost decade now. Wow. So it just feels very special.
I am a huge fan of his.
Oh yeah, he's great.
You guys, the chemistry that you guys have is so good, and it I don't know, and I've always said this. I've always loved the story of Will and Sonny and how you guys have just continue to make it grow and continue to make us fall in and out and be in the situations with you guys. It's so good. It's really good, and it's a testament to you guys.
Yes.
Go ahead, Dwight.
I have a nickname for Chandler.
What's that?
Chantilly Blue.
That's the one.
Nice.
That's it.
I love it.
All right. Well, thanks, Dwight, for calling in. And again, we are working hard to make your dream come true, to getting Chandler in. So you just keep watching and staying tuned and tweet him. Let him know that you want to see him, and maybe one day it shall happen.
Thank you, Dwight.
Thanks, Dwight. See you later.
All right. Before we go, we have to talk a little bit about Sonny and Evan and how that is starting to work out. What has it been like so far? Because Brock Kelly obviously is brand new onto the canvas. What has it been like working with him and kind of building this, I'll call it a friendship for now, between Sonny and Evan?
You know, you never know who's going to be like the next love interest. You know, it's like we didn't screen test or anything, and I just got super lucky because he's just a down to earth, like easy to get along with guy. Yeah. And we actually hit it off very quickly. You know, I've been friendly with a lot of people, but then some people you have a deeper connection with, and him and I just had a lot in common, like right away, and so it made it like kind of seamless to get together. But it's also weird because I feel the same thing like a lot of the audience does, is that, you know, I go to work 90% of the time working with Chandler. So when we weren't working together for like 3 months, you feel the separation. Yeah. And it's just so strange because that's, you associate, you know, if you sat next to someone at an office or your classroom was across from another teacher, like you see them every day. If they got moved for 3 months, it would seem weird. It's part of your work. So, but I'm just very fortunate. Like Christopher Sean was incredible to work with. Brock Kelly, like the casting, like Marnie, and everyone's knocking it out of the park. So I just show up. I'm like, wow, you know, this is a talented human being, and we got to work, you know, really well together. What was the last thing that aired with us?
You guys were kissing.
Yes.
Okay, so we've gotten to that.
There was a kiss, and Kate is like Googling Evan to see
Nancy
what she
Drew,
can come up with because she does not trust Evan at all.
And then there was the Rafe adopting David and needing a background check on Evan.
So
and
we know
Evan gave that
going on
look
with
to the
Evan.
like,
like something's off.
something's going on.
Oh, wow.
It was more like, which social security number should I give?
That's really interesting. So coming back on Monday, I hope this week, obviously, because they ended it with Chandler being, or Will being like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I didn't. You know, so there's that whole thing, and then I'm sure it's going to line up where Evan and Sonny are about to like get serious, and then right when Will's going to find out he's innocent, like that's going to be such a
clash.
Like what's going to go on there. So
see, I was hoping for Hot Bartender to be with Sonny. You remember? Well,
Man Bun?
Yes.
No.
Well, okay, fine. I wanted him
for the Man Bun alone. No, Sonny deserves better than a Man Bun.
But I liked that possibility because they were on the app. I can't remember what it was, but it was like equivalent to like a Grinder, and like he was like he was like
Vivian set up.
That Vivian set up, and like and he was teaching him at the bar like how to like log on, and I felt like there was a little bit of flirtation happening, and I was like, I mean,
he had a Man Bun.
What's wrong with a Man Bun?
Everything.
Oh,
it's not right.
No.
Listen, I mean,
Sonny deserves better.
I mean, I was all about. I mean, that Man Bun looked good to me. Like
he pulls it off well.
He does. Like it was nice and it was slicked back and it didn't look messy. Like it was very like hipster like. I mean, you know, that could have been a nice change for Sonny. You know, I'm just saying.
Well, the change for Sonny came in shape of Leo.
Oh, and boy, do we miss Leo.
Oh,
we miss Leo.
The
Greg
drama
Rickard.
between all of you is
priceless.
priceless.
Listen, no one will grab a drink and sashay away like Leo.
That was some of the best
Fabulous.
times I've ever had. It
looked like
so
it.
Yeah.
It really
good.
looked like it.
So funny. So, but they left it open, right, with him because he just
Of course.
left, so he didn't like get killed off or anything.
No.
Greg got swooped up by YNR right afterwards. So,
but listen, maybe he could be like a Wally. Wally is on General Hospital and Days. So you know, if the door opens for Leo to come back, you know, he can switch on in.
The gays of Days need Leo.
Yes, I agree.
We need that energy.
we need a sassy gay.
There just needs to be more gays in Salem. Gays in Salem.
Like who, Tony? I assume that's where you were leading.
No, I wasn't leading to
my bad.
Maxine's son Terrence anymore. I'm trying to. It's already out there. They already know. Now just make it happen. In 2020, we're making things
Speaking
happen.
of Maxine, there was a comment in the chat room that what happened at the hospital this week would not have happened on Maxine's watch.
True.
True that.
True.
Absolutely.
I agree. Or if Terrence was there. I'm just saying. All right, so they're telling us to wrap up now, which is so sad. I don't want to.
What do we have to look forward to? More twists?
Well, let's do this first. Let's watch the promo.
Okay.
What's going to happen next week.
Okay,
and then when we come back from said promo, I want you to think of one word that describes what's to come for Sunny.
Okay.
Okay. Let's watch what's going to happen next week on Days of Our Lives.
Victor did this to me.
Family takes on family.
He's not gonna get away with it.
Friends become enemies.
You need to die.
And the partner is left hanging.
The sound effects.
I know.
Really good.
The fact
Poor
that he's
John.
just hanging there and you hear like the drips and the like. Kudos.
He's gonna be stuck in a basement. For
Kudos to them. Okay, Freddie. One word.
Got the wrap it up music going.
Right. One word that describes what's to come.
Justice.
Ooh,
okay.
Love
That's
that.
a good one. That's a good one. All right. Well, that sound is not an Emmy sound, but it's much like it, where we have
playing
to
us
wrap
off.
it up. Yeah. I feel like
Oscars.
I would be that guy that's still talking. They literally have to turn off the mic in order for me. Yeah.
Then you hear Ellen K. Tonight's presentation brought to you by.
And I'm still on stage like. Michael Mattes, before we head out, let the kind folks know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at MLMattes and on Twitter at MLMattes1.
And you can find me on Instagram at Chelsie Overocker. That's Chelsea with an I-E, and on Twitter at Chelsea Overocker.
You can find me on Twitter at Tami Goveia and on Insta Tami.Goveia.
And Freddie, where can they find you, and where can they find the Freddie and Alyssa show, which you guys need to watch?
Yeah, Instagram, FMSmith319. TikTok, same thing, and then YouTube, Freddie and Alyssa, or iTunes, the Freddie and Alyssa Show, and other streaming platforms for podcasting.
Listen, if you guys want to see another side of Freddie, please go to TikTok. Some of the skits that he has done are hilarious, and I never would have thought in a million years Freddie would do. Like, I am tickled.
Oh, well, thanks. Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
So please go watch and support. And if you want to continue supporting us and watching us, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, which is DISHIN Days and _ DISHIN Days on the Twitter. And of course, you can find little old me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. Freddie, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Freddie.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on such a dynamic performance, and we look forward to Justice.
Yes. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another full recap of NBC's #1 hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.